The rise, reign, and legacy of Mansa Musa. In the early 14th century, long before European empires dominated global trade, West Africa was home to one of the richest and most powerful kingdoms the world had ever seen. At its center stood a ruler whose wealth became legend, whose generosity reshaped economies, and whose legacy still fascinates historians today: Mansa Musa, Emperor of the Mali Empire. A mysterious rise to power. Mansa Musa did not originally seek the throne. He became ruler around 1312 under unusual circumstances. His predecessor, reportedly obsessed with exploring the Atlantic Ocean, launched a massive maritime expedition and never returned. With the emperor gone, Musa, then a deputy, ascended to the throne. At the time, the Mali Empire was already vast, stretching across modern-day Mali, Senegal, Mauritania, Guinea, and beyond. But Musa would transform it from a regional power into a global superpower of wealth, scholarship, and influence. The source of his unimaginable wealth. Mansa Musa's riches came primarily from control of the world's most valuable resource at the time: gold. West Africa produced an estimated half of the old world's gold supply. The empire also controlled key trans-Saharan trade routes connecting sub-Saharan Africa with North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Salt, ivory, slaves, textiles, and precious goods flowed through Mali's cities, generating enormous revenue. Rather than hoarding this wealth, Musa invested in infrastructure, administration, religion, and learning, strengthening the empire's foundations. The pilgrimage that shocked the world. In 1324, Mansa Musa undertook a pilgrimage to Mecca, a journey that would make him famous across 3 continents. His caravan was not merely large, it was staggering in scale. Historical accounts describe tens of thousands of attendants, soldiers, officials, servants, and scholars. Hundreds of camels carrying gold. Thousands of pounds of precious metal distributed along the route. As he traveled through North Africa and the Middle East, Musa gave away gold generously to the poor, scholars, and rulers. In some cities, he spent so much that the local value of gold collapsed, causing inflation that reportedly lasted for years. News of his wealth spread across Europe and Asia. Maps from the era began depicting West Africa with a crowned king holding a golden orb, a symbol of Musa's fame and power. Building a center of knowledge. Upon returning home, Musa focused on transforming his empire into a beacon of culture and learning. He invested heavily in the legendary city of Timbuktu, turning it into one of the greatest intellectual centers of the medieval world. Universities, libraries, mosques, and schools flourished. Scholars came from across Africa and the Islamic world to study law, astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and theology. Architecture also flourished. Grand mosques and public works projects demonstrated both religious devotion and imperial authority. Under Musa's rule, the Mali Empire reached its peak, economically, territorially, and culturally. Governance and stability. Mansa Musa ruled through a structured system of provincial governors, local leaders, and administrators. Trade was regulated, justice was enforced, and agriculture supported the population. Importantly, he maintained diplomatic relations with neighboring states and trading partners, strengthening Mali's global connections. His leadership combined military strength, economic control, religious legitimacy, and cultural investment, a formula that sustained prosperity for decades. Why the empire declined after his death. Mansa Musa died around 1337. After his passing, the empire began a gradual but irreversible decline. Several factors contributed to its fall. 1. Over-reliance on personal authority. Musa's empire depended heavily on his leadership rather than strong institutions. Build systems that endure beyond one individual. 2. Lack of clear succession planning. Power struggles after his death weakened the state. Establish transparent and stable leadership transitions. 3. Excessive display of wealth. His gold distribution caused economic disruption abroad and potentially drained reserves. Manage and distribute national wealth strategically, not symbolically. 4. Centralization without strong local integration. Provincial fragmentation occurred once central power weakened. Balanced central authority with accountable regional governance. 5. Insufficient military modernization. As rival states grew stronger, Mali struggled to maintain dominance, continuously adapt defense capabilities to changing threats. Mansa Musa's story is not just about wealth. It is about vision, leadership, and the fragile nature of greatness. He transformed a powerful kingdom into a legendary empire, built centers of learning that influenced generations, and demonstrated that Africa played a central role in global history long before colonial times. Yet his legacy also shows a timeless truth. Prosperity built on one extraordinary leader can fade just as quickly as it rises. For modern leaders, the true lesson of Mansa Musa is this: greatness is not measured by how high a nation rises under one ruler, but by how well it stands after that ruler is gone.